Welcome to Zero Hit Points, everybody. It's January 22nd. I'm Ryan Miller, and good morning, Vietnam.
That was a stretch, but I like that you went for it, and you did it on the video game show instead of the movie show, which makes even more sense.
Well, see, that's because the connective tissue is that it's still morning. Somehow, we're going that early.
Yeah.
And maybe just barely. Actually, it's not morning for you anymore, is it?
It's noon 30. So thanks.
It's a California morning here in Colorado.
Just like how we make stops, like California stops, where you don't really stop. You just kind of look, okay, cool, that stop sign, it's more of a suggestion than a requirement.
Do they still call those California stops in Colorado?
Everybody calls them California stops, even in
really?
Paris. They're like the California stop. It is what caused the accident. I don't know. At the end, they got Italian. But.
See, I was educated in high school, in my public high school, that it changed from state to state. Like, you go somewhere else and they'll be like, oh, it's a Colorado stop.
Yeah, that's a lie. It's always California.
Dang. Man. I mean, when has the education system let me down? But the education system also, is it the educational system? I think that's twice in one show. Just keeps letting me down.
You know,
how's it going to let you down? Today at Zero Hit Points, where we talk about video games, mostly ones we've played. This week, I'm going to let you down. Because I've played the two I played last week. Again, some more, and that's it. I had a rough week. Rough, worky week, as they say.
Yeah. It's been a long week, actually. It was a long week last week.
You too?
So. Yeah, I mean, it was just busy and yeah. You know, just life is in the way of everything right now.
How many, personal question.
Okay.
How many hours do you work each week?
Generally between 50 and 70. It just really depends on what's going on. 70 is pretty rare, but it certainly has happened.
Are you counting Zero Hit Points?
No.
Okay, good. Because nobody ever should.
No, it's on the bottom of my list, actually.
I don't even have a story then. Never mind.
Okay.
I worked what I have heard referred to as a 40-hour work week. Mm-hmm. And I'm not counting Zero Hit Points either. But I did that over the course of like 2 or 3 days. So
yeah, sure.
It's been rough for me, the lightweight here, apparently.
Oh, yeah. I used to do 3-day shifts, 3/12s. That was always pretty great.
It's only bad in that it's affected my video game playing this week. That's why I have the same two to talk about and probably 2 things each from those. So you either carry the show or it sucks, Matt. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you know what? I'm a very weak person. I don't have any muscle mass, so carrying things, I can't even bring a jug of milk into the house. So,
what kind of video game muscle mass do you have, let's say?
Well, you know, when you talk about muscle mass, it's funny because about the only 2 games I played this week were fighting games. One of them was WWE 2K19, so the muscle mass was definitely there.
All right.
Okay, so we talked about this last week.
We did.
I did not. I had mentioned that, you know, last time there was a in 2K18 there was like a story mode, and I found it in this one. I just hadn't dug for it. So you have to create your character, and it's all really ridiculous and stuff. So you create your character, and then there's a terrible story that goes along with it. The last story I actually really liked because you never spoke. And it was kind of just based around what your answers were. This one, they're trying to do the Madden thing without being nearly as interesting or quote unquote poignant. You start off with a I don't like this guy that I'm in the indies, so I don't like wrestling this guy. And then you're like, okay, well that guy's okay. And he's like, yeah, you're okay. And then you guys are like, oh man, let's be best friends. And then you guys are like, man, how did I get screwed out of being in WWE? Somebody attacked me and it made me look stupid. Who was it? Oh wait, it was our manager. Now you're in WWE. Woo! So it's stupid, but whatever.
Well,
I'm going through it now because I'm invested. I need to find out how this ends.
Oh, it's the WWE Supercard mode of WWE 2K19.
It is. Well, in Supercard, I just can't put down. It's not even worth. It's a game not worth talking about in any respect. Supercard. It's totally stupid and pointless.
I picture you just 2K19, like, oh man, loading screen comes up. Oh, pull up supercard.
I just want you to
Back
know.
to 2K19.
I want you to know that is something you also do. Just
I do.
Not necessarily the thing with like you don't have the connected. There's nothing. I mean, these aren't connected in any way other than they're
that's what I'm
wrestling
saying.
related.
I never have the focus of a WWE.
No, but
2K19 Supercard synergy.
Well, you don't know. I mean, now you've got Super Mario. You got Mario stuff. Maybe you should get back into Super Mario Run. Who knows?
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. But I do absolutely do that. I totally have like Supercard up and I'll be like, I'm loading. Okay, let's just run through the. And the thing is, I don't even look at my phone half the time. It's just, I know where the cards show up and I'm just going I'm grinding for points for things. And so it's just kind of okay.
That is bad.
Just kind of click on it. Just kind of do it. You can look around, have full conversations. Just tap it. There are there are times when I have to pay attention when I'm trying to do something, but most of the time it's just okay. I'm collecting cards to dump into other cards, so it's just tap it, cards, tap it, and for some reason I'm still engaged in it.
Now I just picture you talking to people as like your right hand slowly raises of its own accord, tapping WD Supercard, and your eyes slowly drift over as the person is like slaps your hand away, and you're like, "Oh, sorry."
I'm gonna start tapping people. Like I'm trying to get points out of you.
That means something. That you could start tapping people.
It does. I also like to, before I tap them, I cover them in mashed potatoes and tell them that they mean something.
Thursday book club for movies.
Yeah, check that out. The other thing I played more Smash Bros. I still like that game a lot.
Okay.
The way I've been playing it has been I've started going to each of the spirit things that you can go through the World of Light mode, which is like the adventure mode.
Right.
And I've been just every fight I just do random on the character select screen and I don't even look at it. So I randomize and then I tilt the screen down and I hit start until I hear it going and then I flip it over and then I'm like, oh cool, I hate this character. But I randomized it, so I'm gonna keep playing until I win with this character, unless it's like it becomes there is no way I'm gonna do this and then I'll switch to somebody else. But
do your unlocks depend on that? Like, do you get something for playing each character once or doing something with each character or something?
I don't think so. I just wanted to do it because
right.
If I don't do it that way, I won't run through everybody.
I ran through Mario Kart like that, actually, and I think just finished this last week. I was choosing each character. I tried to play Grand Prix with each character because I thought maybe that would do something.
No, just the disappointment abounds.
No, that's yeah.
But like I said, it's if I don't do it, there are certain characters I just won't play because I have no interest in them, and
Fair.
It does help to go, oh, you know what? I do like that character more than I thought, or nope, I hate that character as much or more than I thought. So, which
it's worse now.
There are let's see, Pikmin and Ness, and there's one or two others. Oh, freaking Duck Hunt. Yeah. I hate them.
No, they're bad.
I just can't stand playing them. I don't know how to play them right, but I just don't like them. I don't like
all of those characters. I was like, oh, cool when you said them, and now they suck.
Yeah, I don't like. I mean that, but there's a whole bunch of other characters that I'm surprised that I do like. Like, as much as I like the game Ice Climbers, I didn't think I was going to like them in the game, and I friggin' love them.
They've been. I want to say they. Oh, yes. Okay. I was going to say they've been in a Smash before, and then I realized that everybody in the Smash has been in the Smash. Because they're all here.
That's pretty true.
But they might have been in the Smash I played, actually.
Oh, well.
I feel like I remember playing Ice Climbers before.
Yeah, I like them a lot. I like Pichu a lot. Pichu is cool. Pikachu is actually pretty cool, and I didn't expect to like Pikachu. I do not actually enjoy Yoshi very much, but I'm okay with... I kind of dig Jigglypuff now and again. King Dedede. Dedede. He's all right. Yeah.
Double D.
Yeah.
We call him.
I think he's a triple D. He's
Is he?
diners, drive-ins, and dives. He does kind of resemble Guy Fieri.
In that he wears a triple D.
And he's got a stupid haircut.
Who's your absolute favorite, best main?
Well, the person I play the most is Pitt.
Still Pit.
I don't know that
Right.
Pit's. I don't know. Pit's definitely not the best. I do okay with Simon. I like Simon a great deal. He's fun.
Belmont.
Yeah, the various links are interesting because they're all different.
How many links you talking about?
There's a regular Link. There's a young Link, like he's a teenager or
Sure,
something,
sure.
and then there's Toon Link.
Oh, like Wind Waker Link?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And
That's cool.
they're all completely set. It's not like they're skins. They're totally separate unlocks. They do totally different things.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
See, I really like Lucario. Lucario's freaking cool. You get him really early on too. He's a fun.
No idea what a Lucario
He's
is.
a Pokemon. He's he's super fun actually. In fact, all of the Pokemon are pretty interesting. They're pretty fun to play, and there's like 4 of them, I think.
Cool, man.
Yeah, I like it. The game is super fun, man. It's ridiculous, but I enjoy
What's
it.
the end of that mode? Because that's the single player mode, essentially, right?
Yeah, I think the end is just you unlock somebody. Yeah, I mean, like you get stuff, you get stuff from it, but it's all in-game junk. You know, like it's stuff that I never care about. It's like, okay, I very rarely care about it, but it's like you opened up an art style. Take a look at this. You opened up a song.
Right.
Listen
Yeah.
to
I never
that
look
one.
at that.
You know,
stuff.
it's that
So
stuff.
there's no like story or sheen of a story to it, like final boss or something.
Kind of like, but it's so. It is essentially the. All of these characters have been taken over and brainwashed by this thing. So fight them and get them back onto your side. And then you do. And then you keep going until you fight the big thing. And like, I fought the big thing, the very first one. And that took me like 4 or 5 tries, got through it. Now there's more stuff. And I assume there's another big giant thing that I haven't seen yet. But,
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's
It's mostly about just unlocking the spirits and have you unlocked all the characters?
No, I still have a few to
okay.
go.
All right.
Not sure who's
Cool.
left. I know I don't have Petaluna.
That's a Pokemon, probably.
Petalina is from Kid Icarus.
Dang it.
Yeah,
I thought I had this down.
you're close.
Cool.
But yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
All right. Far be it from me to stop the Nintendo streak here,
Keep
like I said.
Streak
But I don't
on.
have much to add. Mario Kart, still play some more. I have 3 stars on all of 50, 100, and now 150 cc. I got through some of that hot garbage, finally. But Mirror, which is what I'm on now, is just a mirrored 150 cc, so I'm sure it won't take long until that's back. One thing I didn't mention that I did want to mention that I love from this are the point-to-point races, which I don't think have been in a Mario Kart. I could be wrong because I'm missing probably a good 4 between the DS and other things.
Sure.
Actually, probably just the DS and the Wii. I did play for a second. The Wii U, that was the thing I didn't own and forget about routinely.
Like everybody else, even the people who did own it.
Right. And I guess was there a Mario Kart besides Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U?
No, I think
I
it
don't
just
think
came
so.
out on the Wii
Yeah.
U, and they were like, "Well, nobody bought
All right.
it there, so we might as
Yep.
well put it over here."
Mm-hmm. So yeah, but the point-to-point races are super fun. Like it's a really cool addition. I love those.
Did we find out that is not something you can play online? It's only local multiplayer.
It's weird. I tried. I'm pretty sure you can play it online, but I think only 2 people locally. Or maybe it's the online that's single player. I had a buddy that came over and we tried to set up so we could all play. And if you connect switches, I think you can only play 2 per screen. So there's not like 4 player split screen.
Yeah.
So it was annoying. We ended up just playing on the same Switch because it wasn't worth it or something like that.
Sure.
Online, I want to say it's similar or something. But yeah, we can play each other.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a thing.
We should try that out.
Yeah. I should follow through on that friend code of yours.
Well, you do whatever you got to do. We're not really that good friends, so
Uh,
we got to have some separation, you know.
fair. I also played some more Mario Party. I got the last of the 5 star gems that I mentioned from going through that mini game challenge mode kind of.
Yeah.
And in so doing, it unlocked the next level of that same mode where you can get a crown for going through it. I'm not sure what that's going to give me. In the end, it's not really giving you anything that you're going to care about in that game. Like a new board would be amazing in that thing. That's kind of what I'm missing. Or something like that. But they're not going to hide that behind something that's hard to unlock because the next level of that challenge mode for the minigames is pretty hard. It turns out, mostly because they're now depending on the motion controls to be more
Wah wah.
accurate
Yeah.
than they can be. So
When they make those things, I'm always fascinated by the fact that like they found people that could QA this and go, "Yep, works perfect." Like every time, every single time, I'm nailing this.
And it's
all right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like flashes of Connect here where what was the most recent one I did? I guess it was Dance Central. And I think Harmonix is rightfully regarded as one of the better developers for that because I can tell somebody spent time with the difficulty curve in that game with respect to the Connect and made some considerations. I think they get to a certain point where they just need to account for the inaccuracies and they kind of decide how hard they're going to go on that. Because, if I play something a million times, I can finally get where they're going. But I feel like it's less I'm getting better at this or figuring out what they want and more, just if you do it a million times, one of them's going to hit type thing,
Well, but you also, and that was a good example too, where you figured out you could cheese some of that stuff by just not moving as much or just by moving like specific parts of your body.
Yeah, that's part of it. A lot of times you're just trying to figure out what the Connect is going to register as good as opposed to doing exactly what it says, and sometimes it's not the exact move. So there's a lot of that here. Like it'll show you how to hold the Switch remote, which it goes back and forth to being completely upside down, sometimes vertical, like every direction it says you should hold it for some of these things to use it like that.
Right.
So I'll switch it up. For this one, it was like hold it reverse and then punch up to hit... Speaking of a game specifically, punch up to hit a question mark block. So I would turn it around different. And most of the time I'm finding it's just a quick movement will register as anything correct for the Switch remotes, which should have been a red flag, I think, anyways. The fact that it doesn't matter as much. They should have, I don't know. There should be more accuracy available in a way.
Yeah, calm down.
But so I would hold it upside down, and when it would come, I would try to just hit my leg at the right time to get it. But even then, the window, the timing window that they want is so small that it starts to lose all meaning. Like I just don't know. I cannot faithfully reproduce what they want, and it's super freaking annoying.
Sure.
So that sucks. Whatever. That was hard mode for that thing. I don't know how far we'll get on that. It's kind of just the thing left in Mario Party, so we'll go there unless we're actually doing a party, playing a board game or whatever. And I do actually, speaking of the mini games, I do want to mention that with exception to the hard version of the motion mini games, the mini games, generally speaking, are probably the best they've ever been. Like there's some really, really smart ones that they've put in there. Just really clever ideas for short time games like that. Like one of them, the one I'm thinking of in particular, is just a grid. I don't know what it is, like 20 by 20 grid. And it does 4 different groupings. So they're seemingly randomly separated into 4 different shapes, just completely different shapes made up on a grid, square by square. And you have to figure out by looking at them within 3 seconds or so, I think, which one has the largest area. So they do fun things, and they're only I think ever 1 or 2 off from each other.
"Quote unquote" fun things.
I don't know.
Hey kids, let's play geometry. Whatever, nerd.
It was a neat idea. I feel like that they came up with for a lot of the mini games. One of them. Okay, how about this? One of them's a cube of meat that you have to fry on all of its sides, and whoever does that first, you got like a pan with oil in it, and you're going back and forth, and you flip it. It's food. It's a meat. It's a meat cube, Matt. Is that more your speed?
Oh, I don't know. Let's just do some more education in home economics. Keep going, man. I'll find a class for everything. That entire game is just school covered in Mario.
It's fun. I think we're near the end of any type progression. When we did get the 5th star, it unlocked the final character, or allowed the ability to unlock the final character. You just walk around the kind of fake hub world and then talk to him, and then like, hey, I want to join. It's Pom Pom.
Sure.
Looks like a Koopa Troopa, maybe, or a Bowser Jr. type.
Oh,
what do they call that? The Bowser kids. Bowser
pink hair
Minion,
with
maybe?
the pink hair or yellow hair with the pops way up.
Oh no, that's
Iggy.
I think maybe.
Yeah.
But yes, one of those, except it's a girl. She's completely red, and she only has like 1 spike on the top of her head, I think, or something like that.
Huh.
Might be a ponytail. Yeah, I don't know. I
Who
actually
knows?
was going to look it up where she came from, and I didn't because now I am.
Respect their privacy.
Pom Pom resembles her male counterpart, Boom Boom.
Yep.
Which appeared alongside her in the game, Nintendo 3DS game, Super Mario 3D Land. There you go.
Boom Boom.
And it is a ponytail.
Boom Boom. If Boom Boom was a human, it would have been the jerk brother Buzz from Home Alone.
Okay. All right.
Or it would have been
that's fine.
Or it would have been Chet from Weird Science, but I think it was Home Alone.
I just saw somebody post. It was an old friend from a job I had in college that their mind was just blown because they found out that one of the bandits from Home Alone was actually the narrator from Wonder Years.
Yeah, Daniel Stern.
I'm right. I'm like, who doesn't know that at this point?
Like he's one of those guys where you're just like, I know that voice.
It's Daniel Stern.
It's Daniel Stern from the Wonder Years.
And that's all I have, sir.
Okay, City Slicker.
That's a good movie. Thursday. Book club for movies.
We're never watching those movies for book club.
No, not for a show, but man, I would go back someday.
Yeah, you could go back any day.
No Curly's Gold.
Ugh.
All right. They might not have aged well. Actually, you know what? Top contender for might not have aged well would be City Slickers. I could see that.
It's possible. I now I kind of am interested in going back
Right?
to it.
See, we talked about it enough.
You know what? You've talked me into it. City Slickers 2 coming up. Book club for movies.
This week, news is going to be short too, and the show is going to be short, I think, honestly. But the first thing I thought was interesting was kind of an update, and it's been a while, but we talked about that Amy Hennig Star Wars Uncharted game, was the shorthand for it that everybody was talking about for a while.
Yeah, the one that people were excited about and thought, wow, this could be good.
It was a big open world type idea for Star Wars finally, one of those. But Amy Hennig left. It got not really canceled, but there was some terminology. This is where everybody got into the big thing about our single player games dying for a hot minute.
Again.
Because even Star Wars couldn't survive and all that. And they had some terminology about their refocusing of it, that it would be, something that people could come back to repeatedly. It was a bunch of marketing speak for games as a service type thing. Yes, exactly. Well, it appears that game just keeps getting canceled. This time, and this is coming from Jason Schreier on Kotaku, so he's done some legwork. He has some sources. It seems that it was canceled, and at first they couldn't get EA, not that they couldn't get, but EA wasn't necessarily commenting on any of it. They have finally commented, so I think a lot of this item can be disregarded somewhat since we have an official statement now. Basically, his sources were saying it was canceled, it was done, but the official statement from EA says, there's been speculation overnight about one of our Star Wars projects. As a natural part of the creative process, the great work by our team in Vancouver continues and will evolve into future Star Wars content and games. We're fully committed to making more Star Wars games. We're very excited about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order from Respawn, and we'll share more about our new projects when the time is right. So,
corporate speak for, we did cancel the project.
Yep.
We're not ready to tell you that. Anything that's there, we might reuse assets again, but I wouldn't concern myself with it. We've got Respawn's game, and guess what? Our freaking contract is coming up, so we better put out something good soon.
Right? Instead of just canceling all of them.
I really hope Disney does not re-sign an exclusivity license with EA.
I would be surprised.
They've in 10 years we've gotten 2.5 games. One of them was
Battlefront 2?
Yeah, well, and the other one was Battlefront. I mean, both of them were not nearly what they were supposed to be at launch. One of them was
that part of the deal too? Did it go back that far, really?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Sheesh. Okay. Yeah, I can't imagine Disney's terribly happy with how that turned out.
No, it's like, and the thing that kills me is that there is no reason for them to do an exclusivity license. Like, none of those companies, regardless of how much money they can give you up front, none of those companies need that. There are so many developers out there. Meet with them. Give licenses to various people for short term. You can do that. It was done in the past.
Yeah, well, I don't know what in the past, Disney, I feel like they've closed their game studio 2 times that I can think of. So I know some of that is that, but I don't know what they expected to gain with that by doing it that way. It seems like they could have just chopped it around and
No, that's what they should have done. They should have shopped it around, and I hope they do. I hope they don't lock themselves into a single developer again.
That would be the extra stupid thing, right? Is if they did not re-up with EA and they just went to Activision or something stupid, right, and did the same thing.
Right, which would just, please don't.
Either way, that game's canceled again, some more, so.
Woohoo!
I am also looking forward to the Respawn thing, so whatever.
Yeah, I'm dubious. We'll see.
Really?
Man,
at this point, I guess.
I just don't trust anybody with anything anymore. I'm so jaded and so bothered by how much garbage is coming out and how many, this game should have been great and it was crap. And I'm not doing it.
And you don't have the Call of Duty in your blood as much. Like Respawn has earned that place where I'm going to get it. And if it's like literally a reskin to Titanfall, I'm going to be stoked. Like,
yeah, I mean,
that's kind of where I'm at.
And I like Titanfall 2. I don't know. I want a good Star Wars game. I don't.
Yeah.
And I mean, a reskinned Titanfall probably would be really cool, but I still want an actual Star Wars game. And just, It doesn't seem like anybody can do that anymore.
Nope.
I don't know why it's so incredibly difficult to make a game.
Well, I mean,
ever.
Technically we know why it's so incredibly difficult to make a game. But yes, it seems that Star Wars has something about it that why can't... Well, you know what? Even that's slightly explainable. If you think about it, the cultural thing that Star Wars has become, I don't know. Whatever. Star Wars. I could see why Star Wars things fail because just nobody or nothing somewhere, something, you know?
Yeah, no, I think what you're trying to say is that there is a certain expectation and pressure around what Star Wars can be because of how now Disney holds it close to their vest and says,
sure,
that doesn't count. You can't do that. On the same token, I feel like it can't really be that hard to come up with a good Star Wars story that's playable. Like, it just can't be. It can't be that hard.
I guess, yeah. I mean, in a way, they hired the right people. They did everything seemingly right. You know, like they had Amy Hennig. They had...
It is... I would love to...
Okay, sure. It's really confusing.
I would love to understand where the breakdowns happen on those things, honestly, because Star Wars seems like such a no-brainer, and I have to wonder if Amy Hennig was one of those people where it was like, okay, I've got the story, it's all written, can you guys do something? And then you had you had tech heads that were building stuff go, I don't want it that way, I want it this way, I want it, I don't know.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, what...
I'd love to know what...
In a way, it's also what goes wrong with any game, but...
Sure, but Star Wars in particular is what I want to know about.
How did it come together for a game like Uncharted and not for Star Wars?
How did Battlefront come together and not Amy Hennig's Uncharted? Who knows?
None of it makes sense. None of it makes sense.
That's why we just gotta go. We just gotta finish it up and go to the capper. Let's do it.
Yeah, why don't we talk about something I'm even more curious about whether or not is going to turn out. According to you, our resident expert on the matter, a lot dropped on Mortal Kombat 11. There was a stream. Is this correct? Right?
Yeah. There was it was the reveal stream last week.
That's right. Yeah, official from NetherRealm. Was it just Ed Boon sitting down there playing himself, basically?
It was not. It was not. It was as cheesy as you'd expect it to be.
Oh no!
They had one or two famous people showed up. They had a host. They did bring Ed Boon out, and Ed Boon was the majority of the show. But Ed Boon is thankfully not.
He's fairly immune to that stuff.
He is pretty good on stage. He's not as good as like Pete Hines is or anything, or even Todd Howard. And you can say what you will about the guy. The guy actually can do what he needs to do on stage. Ed Boon can do it though just fine. Like he doesn't go up there and stumble around. He knows what he's showing. He knows what he's talking about, and he does a good job of sticking to the facts that people are interested in. Like he knows where his bread and butter is buttered on the bread.
Yeah, huh? I feel like we're backsliding into the Star Wars conversation.
I don't know what's happening.
He's a no nonsense type of guy. Like I wouldn't even put him in the same league as with all those other guys because he gets up on stage and those guys are good on stage because they're good on stage. Ed Boon's good on stage because you get the feeling he just doesn't care. Like he's just going to get up there and beat Ed Boon and he knows what's up, so he's going to talk about it.
And I think he's also kind of I think Ed Boon has a level of humility behind him that the others don't. Like Pete Hines and those guys can come out and they're just like, yeah, I know you're here. I know you're excited to hear me talk because you know this. Ed Boon comes out and he's like bashful about it. Like he's confident about what he's going to say, but he comes out and he's like, "Oh, you guys, I just made Mortal Kombat. I'm not really doing anything." And then he's like, "Okay, now I'll explain it all in like, yeah, man, that reveal was pretty cool."
Did you catch the entire thing? I did not, which is why I'm going to depend on you for a lot of this. But
I did. There's not a whole lot to really talk about with this. I mean, okay. At the end of the day, it is Mortal Kombat, and there's plenty of NetherRealm does what NetherRealm does, which is a simplified version of saying every game they make iterates on the previous game, even if they're not related. So Mortal Kombat 9 came out, or Mortal Kombat 10 came out.
No, they both did. You're right.
Injustice came out and was built on top of that. So they added a bunch of stuff to Injustice. Then Injustice, Mortal Kombat 10, Injustice 2, Mortal Kombat 11, and Mortal Kombat 11 has taken stuff from Injustice and expanded on that. So now you've got, along with the Mortal Kombat stuff that you had prior where you had multiple stances, now you've got multiple stances, plus they're customizable, plus you've got different, like, there are different skins, and the skins have different things going for them. So they have like different perks or whatever, bonuses. So they're totally going with the customization stuff hardcore. It looks like they have updated the X-rays to be slightly different than prior. So you're still getting some of those hits that do the X-ray thing, but it doesn't look like the X-ray itself is there anymore. Now you've got like another type of pre-finisher, like pre-fatality thing that takes its place and is more brutal than ever before. Okay. We know fatalities are there, of course. There always will be. Whether or not there's anything else, friendships, we all want to see come back. Friendships are the best. Yes. Babalities are, I could always...
Bestialities.
Yeah, that's, the Enum Claw level is going to be great for, I think, Washingtonians. Yeah, it looks cool, man. They did... If you don't get the joke, you're clearly not from Washington, and okay. Feel free to Google why Enum Claw is famous now. It has been for the past 10, 15 years. Yeah, there's good stuff, man. They showed off some of the standard characters that you'd expect to see. We saw Raiden and Sub-Zero, yeah. Scorpion, Baraka. They brought Scarlet back. They showed off a new character named Garrus. You get a pre-order bonus. If you pre-order it, you get Shang Tsung. Or not Shang Tsung, you get...
Shao Kahn?
Shao Kahn.
Is it Shao Kahn?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You get Shao Kahn. And they showed off a bunch of Sonya Blade, and I think maybe the most interesting for me, anyways, announcement of this is that Sonya is being voiced by Ronda Rousey. And
most appropriate, maybe, is what you're looking for?
Very, very, I think she's a very appropriate person to voice the character, and...
I mean, you would watch her play Sonya Blade in an MK movie, honestly.
Oh yeah, no, she'd be great. Yeah. I mean, and there's at this point now there are gonna be so many dingleberries that are coming. Well, so and so is better, so she lost to Holly Holm, and Holly Holm looks more like Sonya Blade, so why not her? Cool.
Come on.
Except most people know the name Ronda Rousey. They don't know Holly Holm. They don't remember that she's the one that beat her. Like, they don't remember that.
Ronda Rousey has an acting career.
Yeah, okay, well, calm down about that.
Whatever.
I mean, fair. I wouldn't say
I didn't say a good, successful, or great, or anything.
You know what else she has going for her that I think is awesome?
She's perfectly fine.
She is, she's fine, whatever. She is in WWE. She is the Raw Women's Champion. And unlike the other MMA guy who is in WWE, Brock Lesnar, she is there like every week. Like, she's on TV every week practically.
I had no idea she had a WWE thing.
And here's the crazy thing. So I saw one of her early matches because it was at WrestleMania. She got an early WrestleMania match. And we walked away like, Ronda Rousey can actually, like, she can do this, which is different than what she was doing. Like, MMA, completely different than...
Sure.
What they're doing there. They're still hitting each other, but there's a different athleticism there. Lots of different things going on. And she's actually like, she has gotten better and better every week, and you can see it. And on top of the fact that you can see it, she is one of those awesome women that goes out there, and she has helped bring more women and young girls into the sport and wanting to watch them. So I'm a big fan of her. I think she's awesome. And, you know, yeah, she lost. Everybody loses once in a while. And guess what? Who cares?
Yeah. Look at us. So Mortal Kombat 11, I am curious about a couple things. I want to ask you about them.
Let's jump back. All right. What happens?
And I'm just going to go in order of, I'm pulling for a little bit. Polygon had a Everything We Know, which I might have forgot to clip. Did you get to that article? Not necessary, but
probably because I watched the thing. I mean, I
fair
don't know.
enough. That's a good way to do it too. I'm going off the cliff notes here. The character reveal trailer for Garrus, I thought was pretty freaking rad.
Yeah, he looks like a fun character.
And part of that's just straight up the game, I think. Looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
They managed to modernize the Mortal Kombat aesthetic in great ways continually, I think. You know, because it has that, I don't know, kitschy cannot be the right word, but it has that feel to it, right? Like it has that...
It's a B movie, man.
Yeah, okay, maybe that's
it
what I'm
is.
going for.
It's totally like a B cult movie that just is playable, you know?
It looks good. I like it.
It does. I agree. I think Garrus looks cool. I think all of their new looks to the characters look cool.
It also made me realize that I think I get most of what I want from this game from the trailers, and we've talked about character reveal trailers before, especially for fighting games.
Yeah.
And I think this is probably why I'm into them so much, is because everything that I want from those games comes across in those trailers. It's the look, the story, the universe. Like I get a lot of that. The combat stuff you mentioned, like, okay, like when they started customizing stuff even more in Injustice 2, it didn't grab me, and the increased approach to it here continues to not grab me.
Sure.
But the stuff you talked about with the actual moves, like the X-rays, are super interesting to me, actually, because there was stuff in Mortal Kombat 10 that I still have no idea. Like I knew there were like EX moves or stuff like that. There was like was there a stamina meter or something?
Well, you had your regular meter, and then you had your you had the X-ray meter.
X-ray meter, and that was the only thing I ever paid attention to, was, you know, getting hit enough times that the X-ray came up and then you could use it. So they've changed the X-ray, it seems. What is probably the analog to the X-ray moves is called Fatal Blow now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it just occurs when your health drops below 30%. You have access to it.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
And you can use it only once per game, not per round. So the use of it is more strategic. And if you completely whiff it, it goes onto a cooldown that takes a while still.
Yeah.
But in addition to those Fatal Blows, they now have something called Crushing Blows, which I actually also really like gameplay-wise. It's that, and I feel like they had something similar. Oh, no, there were... it wasn't brutalities, because those are still fatalities in a way.
Okay.
But basically, if you do a certain type of move... Actually, yeah, that's what it was. They did have brutalities that would automatically trigger if you did certain things. Like, they would go into them immediately instead of, you know, into the finish him thing before in Mortal Kombat 10. You remember those?
Yeah.
This might be an evolution of that, but again, they seem more related to X-rays.
Yeah.
Like, they give an example with Garrus. But basically, if he does a move 3 times in a row and then it ends with I think the guy crouch blocking or something like that, it'll go into this, you know, crushing blow, which is an X-ray, but not an X-ray type thing. I thought that was really cool too. Super cool idea. I like that idea.
Yeah. No, it's novel. Seeing how that plays out. We'll see if it's something that shows up a whole bunch and slows the game down a lot. But yeah,
which the brutalities in 10 never really did show up all that much. You know,
the brutalities you had to go way out of your way to do. Like none of them were easy to do, and you had to set them up. That was, I think, the big thing with the brutalities.
Yeah.
With these, it just sounds like you can get them randomly, and because
which is cool.
When they showed them on the screen, it was still that same like. There's the slow motion of the hand hitting the bone and the bone shattering, and then it goes back into the thing. So
right.
So I don't know. It'll depend on how often those show up.
But I think that's a cool, in fact, even strategic thing to put in there, like to try and get those to occur, to try and counter them.
Sure.
Which I guess speaking of counters, there's something they called a flawless block, which if you do with perfect timing, it opens up a window to counterattack. That could be, I'm sure I'll never utilize that in my life, but it sounds interesting.
You certainly will if there's an achievement and you choose to get this game.
Well, that's if I get the game, which now we're to the thing that might get me to get the game overall, the story. And there was a story trailer that came out with this thing.
Continuing from the last game, too. I can't wait to see Dark Raiden. Man, that opening cinematic. Did you watch the opening cinematic that they showed?
It's like I said, piqued my interest.
The fact that... So the quick rundown on this opening cinematic is that Raiden has captured Chinook, and Chinook being one of the old gods, the elder gods, he thinks he can't be killed or anything. Raiden basically blows his body up and then keeps his like severed head that's still trying to talk on a platter that he's then going to show the other old gods to say, hey, I'll get y'all.
Yeah, it's going to send it back to Liu Kang and the other, I forget who Chinook's minions were from 10, but yeah.
Right.
It's going to send a message. Raiden's got Chinook's amulet, and he's kind of got off the deep end, it seems. And I guess this is not a new character, but Chronica, the Keeper of Time.
Yeah, she's new to this, man.
Okay.
Or she might have been in one of the other games, but I don't remember her showing up.
Well, then I would believe you. She's in charge of time, and apparently Raiden, by killing Chinook, has messed up the timeline so much that she's coming in to straighten things out. But how this is going to manifest, I guess, in the story, in some ways, it says that you're going to be meeting young, and this is probably where, remember we saw the first trailer for this that came out for the Game Awards. It had Scorpion meeting a Scorpion that was dressed kind of classically.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, if that's like an actual thing and not just a one-off cool thing from the trailer, like if that's actually worked, well, this is where that's actually worked in, it seems. Over the course of the story, time travel is going to come into it, and you're going to be fighting younger versions, and not even just younger versions, but like alternate timeline versions of the same characters.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it, man. The pre-order has happened.
I am there for that.
You might as well pre-order it. Just get shook on. Just have it.
I don't know if I'm there going to buy the game for that, but I'm there for that.
You are. You're going to.
Honestly, it looks promising, but the game itself doesn't. I mean, you said it. It's an iteration. Like, it doesn't look like it's breaking any new ground. I don't think I'm going to have any new fun with this thing as a fighting game or anything.
Yeah, you basically have to decide, do you like fighters? I mean, that's the end of the discussion there. Do you like fighting games enough to buy one? Okay.
That's what I'm saying. If I bought this, it would literally be for the story and kind of the universe. So, I mean, if anybody could do it, they could do it. Like, they could get me to buy a fighting game for as stupid a reason as the story in a fighting game. Mortal Kombat's the one, but I will see.
Fair enough. I think Mortal Kombat is streaming on Hulu, and I think I'll watch that later tonight.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, that's not going to hurt.
You never can.
Could there be a show, a Thursday book club for movies show on a movie like Mortal Kombat? Do you think that would stand up, or is that more of a side?
There's a lot to talk about there, but I don't know.
There, no?
I don't know that you want to do an entire show on that. I mean, I'm down with it. We can give it a shot. At the very least, we could do both 1 and 2 and just talk about how 1 is basically a masterpiece in comparison.
And 2 is the like mirror image of it.
Yeah, that's been flushed down the toilet and covered in fecal matter.
Thursday on Book Club for Movies.
Speaking of Mortal Kombat, though, real quick,
sure.
There's a cart. They're going to be doing an animated of it, and I don't know if it's a movie or what. Again, there was a cartoon before, like a Saturday morning kids cartoon.
Was it really?
Yeah, it did. Just never made sense to me. It was like, this is
looking
not
that up.
Yeah, it's real dumb. But they've cast some of the voices, and the only one I can remember is Joel McHale. And I have to assume he's going to be Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage, right? Yeah.
Only thing that makes sense.
And that's actually smart. I like that.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'm into that. On 0 Hit Points, thanks for hanging out, everybody. It's been a good week. It'll be an even better week this coming week. Just wait to see what we'll talk about. You have any idea what you might talk about next week, games-wise?
I don't.
On the list?
I have no idea.
Okay. I'll tell you, was the goal this week, but going to be the goal again this week. Get back into Red Dead and finish Red Dead. I can't imagine I'll finish it this week. I'm not even going to say that out loud while this is recording.
Just say you're going to play that game. That's a lot.
But I will play Red Dead, and I'm sure we will have some Red Dead words. I've worked enough to take some time off. Let's put it that way. I'm playing some games for a while.
Good. There you go, man. Do it.
And honestly, I want to play Red Dead because I have a bunch of other games I really want to play. And Red Dead's the last game I want to take a big break from and come back. right?
And it's already been long enough.
Yeah, exactly. So Red Dead next week. Book Club for Movies on Thursday. Podcast at zerohitpoints.com. A podcast at bookclubformovies.com. We're watching The Endless.
Okay.
And we'll talk about it on Thursday.
Okay.
Okay, all right. There you go.